Yeah, but you know as well as I do that the housing crisis isn't going to get sorted anytime soon. So there's that it's
Sure, but
it would be great if we could help everyone in the world. But the world does not work like that, unfortunately. And I think at the numbers of people we constantly keep taking in, like if there's 500 people that needs accommodation, we find it. Next week there's going to be more. Next week there's going to be, there's the government have actually no plan put in. They're just like, are sure it's going to be grand, that kind of attitude.
so the government needs to have a plan.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
but
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah.
as well as I do, they ain't gonna have a plan. Like they were
Well,
supposed to build modular homes last year,
yep.
and that's last year.
Mhm.
Like everything this they say, it's always like, oh yeah, we're going to do this, and they never do it, and it doesn't put any trust in the public. Don't have any trust in people. When you see polls that comes out the other day of like in the business polls, like 75% of people think we've taken in too many asylum seekers.
Mhm.
That's a cause because of the government's actions of
I agree.
literally not doing anything, and
I agree.
there's no there's no faith within the government. And
Mhm.
also, like,
Yes.
even when we'll say Leo Varadkar comes out and says people don't have the right to veto where
Mhm.
another person lives beside them, and he's right. But also when in Ball's Bridge there was a provision centre being put up, and then the local people were bringing them to court, and then it gets stopped. And we'll say,
Mhm.
it's like you don't have a right, but it depends how rich you are. Like there were in February there was about 3,335 asylum seekers and refugees in Tala, and there's 51 in Dublin 6.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? There's that kind of thing about it that you can see why people are like like immigration doesn't affect Leo Varadkar because he doesn't have to worry about it. And like I mean, nothing
Sure.
affects
Yeah. I would argue that I agree with most of what you said there, right? And
Yeah,
the only thing I would say that like immigration doesn't negatively affect most people in Tala either. Like because again, just to be clear, like there is a perception out there that like somehow these asylum seekers are getting the houses that we otherwise would get. Like I'm on the housing list 10 years and these people and that's just not happening. Do you know what I mean? So
mm,
like my life isn't any worse by virtue of having a center of asylum seekers who are all men, by the way, from outside of Ukraine around the corner from me. But the main thing I agree in terms of the point about the inadequacies of the government in terms of the housing crisis, in terms of responding to the number of people who have fled here. But we need to try and redevelop the movement to kick out the government and to have a left government that actually serves the interests of ordinary people. And I think that again, like the government is happy for this kind of narrative to develop that like, oh, it's the asylum seekers. Like I think part of the certainly the potential result of it, if not the intention, is
yeah.
to kind of cut across the momentum of that's behind it's mostly behind Sinn Féin to a lesser degree, like more broadly the left with the idea of let's kick out this government. Um, and if you look at like you're right, that like the actual number of people who are part of the far right or whatever is like, minuscule in this country. But if you look at their output, it is disproportionately targeting the left. They identify the left as the main aim, as the main problem.
Mm.
Loads of them used to be members of Fine Gael and so on. And their aim is precisely to like cut across the momentum towards the left government and try because that obviously they definitely fear that.